Right. After the end of the Korean War occurred in 1950, Korea was full of corpses, destroyed buildings, and the poor. A quarter of national wealth was lost, and about 64% of buildings in Korea were destroyed by the war. General MacArthur, the general who led Korean army during the Korean War, asserted that Korea's economic condition will be recovered after about 100 years. However, in 1960s, through the support from many nations, Korea began to make the basic structure for economic activities, and endless attempts to recover Korea made incredible economic amelioration. The national GDP of Korea was increased from $2.3 billion to $64 billion. Nowadays, people had called these accomplishments the miracle on the Han River, Asian Dragons, or the East Asian Miracle. However, Korea had to face the economic crisis occurred in every East Asian countries. The movie Default is telling the story about this economic crisis. This economic depression happened as the credits of Korea is debased by too much debts by major companies and banks for more economic benefits, and it made foreign investors leave from Korea, which made all of companies immediately solve the debt. The movie Default is telling the process of this crisis through the three kinds of point of view: Korean government, normal poor citizens of managing a factory, and a person who became the rich by this crisis. Firstly, the movie represents the governor's response toward this economic depression. Even though the central government could resolve this crisis with a lot of methods, some people in the government wanted prosperity through this crisis without considering our other poor citizens. So they interact all the appropriate methods and let Korea go to the IMF, International Monetary Fund, that will make them riches. Furthermore, even if IMF lent money for resolving the debts of Korea, it requested very unfair list, which created Korea's coercive opening the economic field for foreign investors. On December 3rd, 1997, the control for IMF toward Korea began. Economic reconstructing made countless unemployed people and closed factories or companies. Even though Korean government could pay IMF debts in 2001, economic recession lasted for a long time. Secondly, the movie represents a normal citizen's endless tragedy by government's desire toward their own economic value. He invested money for cooperation with a major company of Korea, but as the company is bankrupt, he got much debts, and they made him sell his house and his friend go to jail because of failing to pay his debt. A lot of people at that time had free circumstances by the economic crisis. On the other hand, few people who predict this crisis got great amount of money. They bought a lot of dollars with predicting the huge change of exchange rate of dollars. In fact, the value of dollar increased from 801 to 2001, and bought many houses with predicting people selling their house to pay their debts. I was impressed by the investors' attempts and insight. During the huge economic crisis that receded plenty of people's lives, the investor foresaw this crisis, found a way to prosper in the circumstances, and implemented it. Finally, he became one of the best riches in Korea. The investor said in the movie, "There are always chances in the crisis." It was the origin of his prosperity to analyze the situation that everyone thinks that it is crisis and to look for the benefit from that situation. Thank you.